Oh, good morning, everybody. We've made it through to the 7th of November 2021, day 8, and this is the actual astrological Samhaim, when the sun is 15 degrees of Scorpio. I'd really like feedback on how your week's been of transformation and endings and beginnings. We still have the moon in Sagittarius, so it's still a good time to be thinking about intentions for the new moon in this next cycle of 30 days, 29, 30 days. And also, what about New Year intentions as we step forth into this new pagan year? Okay, has a theme emerged for you over this week that you want to work on? Or an energy to come up that has sort of inspired you to work with? It'd be interesting to know what's been happening for you. Okay, so let's get on and let's do some cards for today. So Samhaim, astrological Samhaim today, as I said. So, okay, what do we need to know for today, the 7th of November? Astrological Samhaim. What do we need to know? What messages have the cards got for us today? Okay, for the feedback that I have had so far, thank you everybody. It's been really encouraging and insightful. I think sort of one of my big challenges for this week has actually been launching this and going through sort of doing the daily readings and everything. And I've really enjoyed it. Okay, if you're wanting a personal reading for me, there is an email link below this video that you can contact me on. My website is being designed at the moment and should be ready by about mid-December, possibly Christmas at the latest. So, and all my services and prices and things will be on there. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Okay, we've got higher power. The fates. And go the distance. Okay, and incidentally, this deck, this is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Colette Baron Reid, a favourite deck of mine. Okay, so higher power, a theme that's sort of spoken about all the way through this week. And I remember yesterday especially talking about it, about connecting to your higher self and the divine or the universe or source or whatever you want to call it. And tuning into the knowledge and the wisdom that comes through from there. In this card, we can see that in the figure's forehead, just up here at the place of the third eye, there is actually a lock, okay, for a key to go in and unlock the third eye, the centre of vision and clarity and higher knowing and things. Okay, so that's where we're coming from. As always, we have to make room for fate and the fates. As much as we like to think we're in control of our journey, we often aren't, and the higher powers and fate has more control, and for us to trust and surrender to the journey. And then the third card, go the distance. So this always says to me it's more of a marathon than it is a sprint. Okay, and by tuning in to ourselves, to our higher selves, to the universe, to fate, it gives us the trust to go with the full journey. Okay, let's see what tarot cards we've got. So I've gone with my Thoth deck today. They felt like the right deck to use. So let's see what the cards have to say for today. This is probably my oldest deck. I've probably been using this for about 20 years or more. And it's always read really lovely for me. And I have a lot of love for the deck. Always nice readings. Doesn't like being in the same room as another Thoth deck. Will get a bit snotty with me then, and a bit temperamental than its readings. But well, here on my own, they're fine. They're lovely. Okay, so what do we need to know for today? 7th of November 2021. What messages does Spirit have for us? What do we need to know for today? Let's see what we've got. Okay. 4 of Discs, power. The Knight of Discs. The 9 of Cups. The 4 of Wands. The Prince of Cups. The Ace of Wands. 5 of Discs. And the Sun. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Wands. Okay. Okay, so at the centre of the spread and where we are currently, we have the 4 of decks. In this deck it's called Power, and it is the Sun in Capricorn. And in this deck it always talks to me of stability and setting firm foundations and firm boundaries around you. Okay, so grounding ourselves and centering ourselves and standing in our truth is a message that's just popped into my head. Okay, in the background we have the Knight of Discs. Now in other decks this is the King of Discs, and the King of Discs is the Fire of Earth. It's about, again, more stability, more security, money in the bank, knowing sort of what seeds you want to plant, to harvest, and in this deck, deciding about what it is, what you want your harvest to be, what intentions are you setting. And I say that because if you look at the Knight and the Horse, they're both facing in different directions, and for me that sort of indicates they haven't decided on the direction that they want to go. So it ties in with what I was saying from the Wisdom of the Oracle cards about really thinking about what intentions and what direction you want to go in. Okay, and going on from that, sort of mentally and communications wise, we have the the Nine of Cups. Okay, Nine of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces, and the Nine of Cups in this position would indicate to me to think about what makes you happy. When we're thinking about sort of what direction we want to go in and sort of what we want to achieve, think about it from the place of the heart and doing things that make you happy. Setting the foundations to go in a direction that's going to make you happy. Okay, emotionally, we have the Four of Wands, Venus in Aries. Okay, and in this deck it's called completion. It's having sort of laid the foundations, the upsurge of creative energy with the Ace, the standing and looking out, and the overview over the possibilities and what you could do, and then deciding sort of what direction you want to go in. Then it allows us to pass through the 1111 portal. The Four of Wands is often called. Okay, so making plans and stepping out. Okay, it's right directly in front of us. We have the Prince of Cups, or in other decks known as the Knight of Cups. And this is often about messages coming in, messages for the heart, messages from the heart, messages that open the heart. So coming back to sort of what we've been saying before, what makes you happy? What makes your heart jump? Where do you want to go off? What direction will take you in the direction of the heart? And the court cards in the Suit of Cups always speaks to me of following your own holy grail. You see the Mao court cards holding the chalice aloft, and it's following your true course, your heart-centered direction. Brings me back to this. Okay, and looking within, finding what that is, and then setting intentions for it. The card in the position of will and drive and taking action. Okay, we've got the Ace of Wands, a very apt card to be in that position. It's because when we connect into our heart and we connect with what we want to do, then we're often inspired by passion and enthusiasm and inspiration. In this card we can see the fire and we can see the lightning striking out all around it. And for me that indicates, sort of that spark of inspiration, that, yes, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. This is the direction I'm going to go in. Okay. What's working for us currently is the Five of Discs, called Worry in this deck. And it is Mercury in Taurus. And can indicate sort of worrying, what if I set off in this direction, sort of worrying about all the things that might go wrong on the way, and everything. Oh my God, what if they don't like me? What about if I get rejected? What if it's the wrong thing? I'm a great believer that if you step out in the direction that you're meant to be going in, to start the fool's journey, step into the abyss, then the fates will guide you in the right direction. And if you are going off in a slightly wrong direction, or you've missed the mark, there will be insights and guides that will just bring you back onto the right path. And the card that's in the position of obstacles or limitations and things, we've got the Sun. The sun talks of luck and being happy and in a good place. And for me, it talks about being your authentic self. And with it being in this position, it's just a little message to say that if you aren't being your authentic self, if you aren't connected to your heart and your heart's desire, and your passion and things like that, then there will, what I was just saying before about sort of there being sort of limitations and obstacles, but it can also sort of, with things like that, if we find ourselves going up against a sort of keep walking into a brick wall or things like that, the thing I've learned over the years is to step back and just have a look along that brick wall. Just over there might be a little door or a gateway. That way there might be a little ladder that climbs over the wall. It takes you on a different pathway from where you're trying to get through. And if you're true to yourself, if you're coming from your authentic self, then you will be guided in the right direction. From my own experience over many years, I've also found that things that often look like a disaster in the first place, and you think, oh my God, no, why has that happened? They can often be the things that can only actually send you on the right path by giving you time to sit back and reflect or something. Or, if the thing that you thought you wanted to do isn't quite right, then those obstacles can actually sort of guide you onto the right path for you. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Wands, which is Mars in Leo. And this is about setting boundaries, coming back to where we are in the middle of the reading, about forming that firm structure. Who are we? Being our authentic self. If we are being our authentic selves, then it gives us a lot of protection out in the world, and others see our light. We may have to set up boundaries with other people. There may be struggles, and we may have to defend ourselves on the journey, which brings me back to go the distance. Okay, it's not going to be all smooth sailing. There will be challenges and obstacles and things like that on the way. Again, other things I've learned is the journey from A to B is never a straight line. It tends to be all up, down. We go back a bit, we come forward, we go down there, and then and eventually, at some point in the future, we get to point B. And I get the feeling that this is what this reading is telling us, as we're starting to think about setting intentions for what we want to do next. Then just be aware that we're setting out on a fool's journey, and it takes us to lots of places, not a straightforward line. I actually love the backwards and the forwards of the journey, especially when I set intentions for a year-long journey. I'll set intentions for the whole year. Then this to me is just a reminder that things will work for us and they won't work for us, and we'll feel like we're going backwards and we'll be challenged, as well as going forward with our intentions. Okay, I'm just going to finish off with a Work Your Light card to see what messages of inspiration and light we need for today. Just seeing, what do we need for today? The 7th of November 2021, astrological Samhaim. What's the message for us to take forward? Okay. And the card we've got is Align Your Life. Okay. What is not aligned or needs to change? This brings me back to the sun in the position of limitations and obstacles. It's about getting into a right alignment with ourselves for the journey. Okay. Again, we're in astrological Samhaim today, so still thinking about what it is that we need to leave behind as we transmute into the new year and getting ourselves properly aligned. Hopefully this last week has been uncovering that for you. And now we're at a position where we can start to think about what it is that we want to take forward. Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting and useful and given you plenty to think about. As I say, if you want a personal reading from me, then the link to my email account is below, which I'm using while I'm waiting for my website to be developed and up and running. If you liked this video or the messages from it, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, as I need to get 100 followers before we get full visibility. So everything helps and I would be deeply grateful. Okay, have a lovely day and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.